Okay, you're live.
Okay, thank you. So we're back into open session. The meeting did start at 5:30. We've been in closed session for half an hour, and we were in closed session due to a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land, request to lease a portion of land by the township pursuant to Section 239C of the Municipal Act. So with that brings us, we don't have any presentations for statutory public meetings, so we're down to open forum. 15 minutes of the meeting has been set aside for open forum. Any individual may address council regarding an item on the agenda, excluding matters in the statutory public meeting section of the same agenda. Each person has 3 minutes to speak. Anyone wishing to speak can register in advance or use the raise hand feature during the meeting. Today we have no one pre-registered, so I will just go straight to the Zoom audience and see if anyone there wishes to speak. So if you're in the Zoom audience, if you wish to provide information to council through open forum, please use the raise hand feature.
Your worship, I don't see anyone with their hand raised.
No hands? Okay. So that concludes open forum. So down to 11.1, scope of work for ward boundary review request for proposal. And I would just look at, there are a couple of staff. I wasn't sure, is there anything to add to the report at this time?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, no, there is not. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Council, we do have a recommendation in the report. Does someone wish to put a motion forward so that we can deal with the item? Deputy Mayor.
Through you, Your Worship, I move that the report from the Corporate Services Strategy and Innovation Department, April 23rd, 2024, re-scope of work for the ward boundary review request for proposal be received. 2, that staff be directed to undertake a request for proposal to retain an independent consultant to conduct a ward boundary and council composition review in accordance with the scope of work described in this report. And 3, that in accordance with the approved 2024 budget, this project is to be funded through a transfer from the Working Funds Reserve.
So moved. Seconded by Councillor Ennis. Mover, any comments?
Yes, only that I appreciate that this is finally getting started. I appreciate the work in putting together the report. I think it rightly sort of, gets us all on the same page from the starting line and gives staff the direction and authority they need. I think the scope is reflective of what the intent was in council wanting to pursue this. And I think at this point it's straightforward, and I very much look forward to the public consultation piece and seeing the public engage with us on this to try and improve our local democracy here in Loyalist.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Ennis, any comments?
Yeah, through the mayor, just I think it's going to be very interesting and important work. It's of fundamental importance, and very as the deputy said, very pleased to see this coming forward as well. And just to note on that, it is a relatively tight timeline. So to just encourage staff and working with the consultant to do their best to stick with the timeline, but very pleased to see it come forward.
Thank you. Any other comments from council? Seeing Councillor Pratt.
Through your just comment, not only, we haven't had a change, I guess, since 1998, and a lot has changed in Loyalists since 98. And I'm, as much as, we look at past boundaries, et cetera, I'm looking forward to see what thoughts come with, anticipated growth in the next 30 years, because I think now's the time to make that right, so that as people move into the neighborhood and new neighborhoods, they're engaged. And I think that's the thing that worries me, is I hope people come out and get engaged in this. Based on our last town halls, we may have an issue there, but thanks for bringing it forward.
Thank you. Any other comments from council? Take it back to the mover for final comment. Seeing none, call the question. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion is passed. The next is Royal Canadian Legion Branch 623, application for Renewable Energy Benefit Fund. And we do have staff here still. Any further information that is not in the report that staff wishes to report? See none. Council, we have a recommendation, we have a report. Would someone like to put a motion on the floor? Councillor Willis?
I move that the report from the Corporate Services Strategy and Innovation Department, April 23rd, 2024, Royal Canadian Legion Branch 623's application for Renewable Energy Benefit Fund be received, and that two, that council deny the current grant request from the Renewable Energy Benefit Fund in the amount of $20,000. 3, that the applicant be encouraged to apply in the next round of application intake. And 4, that the applicant be advised to seek 3 quotes for the equipment and services to support their application. And if I receive a seconder, I'll explain my thoughts.
Okay. So moved. Do we have a second? Call the second time. Deputy Mayor? Seconding it?
Yeah, I'll second for discussion.
Okay. So Councillor Willis? Back to the mover for comments.
Thank you. This pains me, as I have a very long family history with the Legion, but I don't think that this discussion is really about the Legion and the merits of it. And I wish I could support the recommendation. However, my motion stems from concern about respect for council's policy and process. And the mayor spoke to this last week, and at the time, I had not seen the request. I didn't know the details, but now I have. And one thing that changed my mind is that the application itself notes that Ontario Command has given support to the Legion that removes the urgency from this issue, that their debts have been paid by that. And because of that, I think that entertaining an application outside of the approved process, we open up the likelihood of future urgent applications. Every group will feel that their need is urgent and that they have to come to us outside of the process, and then the process falls apart. I did mention in my motion, so I noticed that in the application, the applicant did not get 3 quotes for the equipment that they're purchasing. And I think that by putting it off until the next round of applications, which was only in a few weeks, it gives them time to get quotes from other restaurant supply companies. The delay in, so Committee of the Whole met over a month ago to make revisions to the policy. And we have a delay in council approving that policy, and that provides time for this applicant to obtain those quotes and revise their application. And I believe that council's in danger of setting a precedent by deciding this tonight without referring the application to the review committee or following the current or proposed policy. And if we ask the public to serve on advisory committees, we must show respect for their work and allow them to do that work. And by setting 2 and possibly 3 scheduled intake periods, it allows for efficient use of staff time, committee time, and council time. If we start looking at applications outside of those intake periods, then we lose our control over the efficiency of staff time if they're being taken every week to to write staff reports on applications that come up outside of the process. So really my thoughts are about the policy and the process.
Thank you. Go to the seconder for comments.
Yeah, I think, well, I think for any council member, this is kind of tough. I tend to agree with Councillor Willis's comments. Frankly, I tend to agree. I'm curious as to what other members think, but I think for me that given what was said, I've yet to see in what was presented in the report. I've yet to see firmly established the urgency aspect and weighed against what we're doing in terms of policy and fairness. And again, those comments were made by the mayor at the last meeting. I'm kind of reluctant. And again, it's not that I don't support the Legion. I definitely do. I come from a military family. My father served 35 years as a commissioned officer in the Army. I was an Army cadet all through high school. My grandfather served as occupying forces in Germany at the end of the Second World War. I definitely support the work that the Legion does, but I take the point about, from a policy perspective, we just struck a new committee, we just made a new policy. And we make policies in order to be fair. Fairness and democratic process are kind of the key here. So I tend to think I support the motion at this point.
Thank you. Comments from other council members. Councillor Proderick.
I'm against the motion. I understand the process, but I've been talking with the people in the Legion, and I previously had made a commitment that I would do everything I could to help them along in this. So I would not support this motion simply on a promise that I had made to a group within the community.
Other members of council, are there any comments? Councillor Budrick.
I've also spoken with quite a few of the members of the Legion, and as much as it might say that they aren't as dire a situation that they actually are, and I know I agree with the whole idea on policy and everything like that, and I do agree with quite a bit of what Councillor Willis did say. However, I'm trying to do what I can for the Legion as well.
Other members of council, any comments to be made? Seeing none, I am going to support the motion. I'll just go on record as saying that. I gave all my reasons at the last meeting. I do support the Legion and what it does for the community, but again, for all the comments that I made at the last meeting, I will support the motion. So with that, back to the mover for final comment.
No comment.
No further comment. With that, I will call the question. Oh, sorry. Clerk, you have a comment?
Yes, and to council. So I just want to clarify. I would encourage you to refer the application to the committee to review during their second intake period. And the reason I say this now is because if council chooses to, say, deny the application at this time, then when it comes back for approval after the committee has reviewed it, if the application is very similar to what they have proposed here, it might be a reconsideration motion. So procedurally, it is better to refer this to the committee to review during the second intake period. Once all the other applications are received, then just outright deny it at this time. Just for
okay. So on procedural technicalities, it's better to do it that way. Okay, so looking at the mover and seconder, do you wish to amend your motion? Councillor Willis.
So I'd like to amend my motion to read that one, that the report from the Corporate Services Strategy and Innovation Department, April 23rd, 2024, Royal Canadian Legion Branch 623's application for Renewable Energy Benefit Fund be received, and that two, the council refer the application to the Community Grant Committee in the next round of application intakes. And three, that the applicant be advised to seek 3 quotes for equipment and services to support their application.
Okay. So moved. And the seconder, you seconded? Okay, so the amendment, so the motion will be presented as amended, and just checking with the clerk that meets all the requirements from what I can see, right? Okay. So with that, we've already had the comments. I will call the question on the amended motion. All in favor, please raise a hand. Opposed? Motion is lost. Is there a motion that a council member wishes to put on the floor for this item? Councillor Broderick.
Through your worship, I'd put another motion on the floor that the report from the Corporate Services Strategy Innovation Department dated April 23rd, 2024, Royal Canadian Legion Branch 623's application for a Renewable Energy Benefit Fund be received, and that council approve the grant request from the Renewable Energy Benefit Fund in the amount of $20,000 on the receipt of 3 quotes for the from the Legion.
So moved. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Broderick. Mover, take it to you for comments.
I think, and I'm going to generalize here beyond the Legion, I think we've got to come up with a way that groups within the community, maybe we need to do a workshop once a year or something so they have a better understanding of the process. I'm not going to rehash previous conversations, but basically, I think my view is fairly well known, and I'll leave it at that.
Seconder, any comments?
I do like the fact that Councillor Broderick asked them for 3 quotes, just to be a little more accountable. It's the proper thing to do.
Thank you. Any other comments from the remaining council? Councillor Parks.
I too like the motion as it stands in regards to obtaining the 3 quotes. I think that's prudent of us to request that.
Any other comments from council? Seeing none, I'll go back to the mover for a final comment.
Just a comment in general. I think by asking for the 3rd quote, they may actually be back in within the timeline for approvals.
Okay. So with that, I will call the question. All in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed? Motion is passed. The next item is a request for funding and in-kind services and community grant policy update. Okay. So we still have staff here. Is there anything that, any other information that you wish to present at this time? Seeing none. Council, we have the report before us with recommendations. Is there a member that wishes to provide a motion put on the floor? Councillor Pratt.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would move that the report from the Corporate Services Strategy Innovation Department dated April 23rd, 2024, request for funding and in-kind services and the community grant policy update be received. 2, that council approve the grant requests from Amherst Island Community Medical Clinic in the amount of $586. 3, that council approve in-kind services request from We Play for Tyler for the free use of the Willie Pratt ball fields from Friday, July 12th to Sunday, July 14th in the amount of $1,131.24. That the $568 grant and the $1,131.24 in-kind service grant be funded from the mayor's discretionary fund. That the second intake period for 2024 for community grants through the Renewable Energy Benefit Fund policy or any future community grant policy be shifted to open on May 15th, 2024 and close on June 12th, 2024.
So moved. Do we have a second? Deputy Mayor. Mover, any comments?
I would just one comment. I'm familiar with the group that we play for Tyler, and I was president of Loyalist Minor Hockey when this child, I guess, took his own life. And mental health is something in the community that we have to support it any way we can. And they have shown a track record of $5,000 to $7,000 a year, and totally support that. And again, from our earlier part of the evening, the Amherst Island Community Medical Clinic people are doing wonderful things, and I think their request is just a small drop in the bucket of what they're doing for the community.
Thank you. Seconder, any comments to add? Seeing none, any other comments from council? Seeing none. Mover, Councillor Broderick, do you have any final comments?
No, sir.
So with that, we'll call the question. In favor, please raise a hand. Motion is passed. Next is June Recreation and Parks Month.
Point of order, Your Worship.
Yes.
I believe it's the MTO subsidy, is it not?
I skipped one. You're right. My apologies. The 2023 MTO ferry subsidy petition, and I declared a conflict on this, so I will mute and shut off my video and turn it over to them.
All right. Director McFarland, any comments on the report?
Nothing further to add. Just questions.
Council, any questions for the director on this? Seeing none, we do have a recommendation that the report from the Community and Customer Services Department, Public Transportation Division, dated April 23rd, 2024, re 2023 MTO ferry subsidy petition be received, and that council authorize the attached petition. Can I get a mover to that effect? Councillor Willis moves. Councillor Parks seconds. Any comment from the mover? Seconder? Anyone else? Call the question. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Wait for the mayor's return.
There we go. Okay. So now I guess the next item is the June Recreation and Parks Month. Sorry to staff that I'm sure that threw them into a bit of a kerfluffle to try and get the different staff members around. So we do have some staff here. Are there any further comments or information to provide at this time? Seeing none. We do have a report before us, council, with some recommendations. Is there a council member that wishes to put a motion forward? Councillor Parks.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would motion that the report from the Community and Customer Services Department, Recreation and Facilities Division, dated April the 23rd, April the 23rd, 2024, read June Recreation and Parks Month be received, and 2, that council proclaim June 2024 Recreation and Parks Month throughout the township. 3, that council direct staff to highlight and promote June as Recreation and Parks Month throughout the township. B, organize a June Recreation and Parks kickoff event. And C, coordinate council's participation in the SEOPRA Mayoral Challenge.
So moved. Do we have a second? Councillor Boudreau. Any comments from the mover, Councillor Parks?
Just, great to see that we're looking at this and promoting health and recreation in the community.
Very good. Seconder, any comments? Seeing none. Any other comments from the other members of council? Councillor Pratt.
Just that I look forward to the mayor and his Frisbee golf skills being on display for the whole township.
I knew I could count on you. Yes, it could be interesting. Any other comments from council? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, please raise a hand. Opposed? Motion is passed. And the next is motion regarding Accessibility Ontario by 2025. So we have a resolution before us. Sorry. Look to the clerk.
Through your worship, and I'm sorry to interrupt. I could put the motion on the screen if you like. That way you don't have to read it out loud.
That would be great. Okay. So we have the motion before us. Council, is there someone that wishes to present this motion? Councillor Pratt.
I would present the motion as stated on the screen.
So moved. Do we have a second? Councillor Willis. Any comments from the mover?
Just that this is long overdue. I think lots of things get downloaded to townships and smaller municipalities, and to create an all-inclusive Ontario, we need support from the government in different places to meet the standards of the AODA.
Seconder, any comments?
Not beyond what Councillor Prodrick just said. Thank you.
Any other comments from council? Seeing none. Do you have anything to add to his final comments, Councillor Broderick? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion is passed. The next motion is regarding possible closure of Regional Public Health Ontario Laboratories. Clerk is bringing it on the screen now as well. Thank you to the clerk for providing that. Council, Deputy Mayor.
I would move the motion, Your Worship.
So moved, seconded by Councillor Willis. Deputy, any comments?
Yes, through you, Your Worship. As council will know, I sit on the board of Kingston, Frontenac, Lennox and Addington Public Health. While these public health labs do not come under the direct jurisdiction of the boards of health, of public health itself, public health depends on them a great deal. And our local lab is over 100 years old and has served the community for a very long time. And obviously, we all know what a tremendous asset they were with matters of capacity for testing and tracing during COVID. The government has proven able to reverse course before, and I certainly hope that they will do so on this. I definitely feel very strongly that this is a message that needs to go out loud and clear.
Seconder, any comments?
Yes, my concern really is about the drinking water testing, and it's a fundamental service provided to people who live in the country. And just today, the Amherst Island Medical Clinic was collecting samples for everyone in the area. And I think that it's very important to rural residents to have the access to have those tests done on a regular basis.
Thank you. Any comments from other council members? Councillor Pratt.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just to follow up what the Deputy and Councillor Willis said, that not only for Loyalist, as we have a very heavy rural concentration of population, but as a member of the Conservation Authority, we see this at our monthly meetings, and I attended the Ontario annual meeting last week, and it's a high agenda item, and drinking water should be at the top of everybody's list.
Well, what? Other members of council, any comments on this item? Seeing none, back to the mover. Any final comments? No. With that, I will call a question. All in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is passed. So we're going right down to notice of the motion. Are there any notices of motion this evening?
Mr. Mayor, there's
Did I miss
another motion regarding housing.
Oh, that's right. I have it up here and I scrolled past it. Thank you. Thank you. There it is on the screen. Thank you to the clerk again. So that is a motion for housing funding. We have a recommendation, a motion before us. Council, does someone want to make a motion? Councillor Willis. So moved. Okay. Seconded by Councillor Rennes. Any comments from the mover?
Yes, just that to me, this is a question of fairness. We have one of the fastest growing municipalities in Ontario, but are not being rewarded because we don't have housing targets set for us. And one of the biggest challenges ahead of us, if we continue to grow, is bringing water and infrastructure to the township. So it is the reason that I am supporting this.
Thank you. Seconder, any comments?
Through the mayor, it's not just big cities that require funding for infrastructure from upper levels of government. It's smaller municipalities like Loyalist as well. That's why I'll support the motion.
Thank you. Other members of council, any comments? Seeing none, I will definitely support this as well. And I think both the mover and seconder made a good comment that if it were, I believe if it went on percentages instead of numbers, Loyalist would be well in the running for the benefits. but because it's on numbers of big cities instead of percentages. I think we've excelled for many years, and maybe some of the others are just catching up to us now. With that, I will take it back to any final comments.
No final comments.
With that, I'll call the question. All in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is passed. Scroll slowly so I don't miss anything again. Notices of motion. Any notice of motions? Seeing none, direct motion. Is there any direct motion to be presented this evening? Seeing none, go down to the consent agenda. The items have been placed on the consent agenda that are routine, and they can all be dealt with together, or they can be extracted for discussion or action. Turn to the clerk.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, staff would like to extract item 14.1 and 14.2. There is a resolution, a clause that's missing from the resolution, and the recreation staff are here to speak to that extra clause.
Okay, so 14.1 and 14.2 are redacted. So that leaves 14.3 and 14.4. So council, out of those two that are left, did anyone have one that they wanted to extract? Seeing none, have a motion then that would cover those two. Do we have a mover? Councillor Broderick.
I would move that all items in the consent agenda except items 14.1 and 14.2 be approved as presented, and that the necessary actions be taken.
So moved. Do we have a second? Councillor Parks. Any comments from the mover?
No.
Seconder. Anyone else? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor, raise a hand. Motion is passed. So now we go back to 14.1. And yes, I believe the staff members in the audience here to be able to speak to this.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, since no one else is raising their hand, I do have the amendment. I'll just put it up on the screen if you just give me a second.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I'm just having a bit of trouble.
There we go. Looks like it's up now. Ms. Lamb, I see you've got your hand raised.
Thank you, Your Worship. Bear with me. I'm going to stay off screen. I'm somewhat under the weather.
Okay.
What this is in relation to is the motion at committee of the whole was lacking direction related to the creation of reserve account for the capital improvement fee. So that's the addition to the motion that you're seeing on the screen this evening, is that the capital improvement fees be allocated to a recreation facility capital improvement reserve.
And if I may, Ms. Lamb, that was included in the report, and I believe it was part of the discussion.
You are correct, Your Worship. It was part of the initial report and discussion. It was just lacking from the actual recommendation and motion.
Okay. Okay, good. So, Councillor Budrick, you have your hand raised? No? Sorry. I thought I saw your hand raised. So we do have the recommendation as amended with item 4. Deputy Mayor?
So moved, Your Worship. I move to adopt the resolution from Committee of the Whole as amended.
So moved, seconded by Councillor Prodrick. Any comments from the mover? Seconder? Anyone else? Call a question. All in favor? Motion is passed. So that brings us down to 14.2, the bylaw for the fees and charges schedule, Schedule F. Was there an amendment to this one as well?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, there was no amendment. I just asked council to extract the item just in case there was further amendments to item 14.1. As procedurally, it should be done consecutively.
Okay, thank you. So with that, we do have a recommendation for 14.2. Is there a member that wishes to move that? Deputy Mayor, so moved. That the bylaw 2024-53, a bylaw to amend bylaw 2022-006 be enacted and passed. Do we have a second? Councillor Parks, any comments from the mover? Seconder? Anyone else? Call the question. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion is passed. So, unless I've missed something again, that completes that item. Announcements. Are there any announcements this evening? Seeing none. Confirmatory bylaw. Do we have a mover for the confirmatory bylaw? Councillor Willis? And seconded by Councillor Ennis. Any comments? Call the question. All in favor? Motion is passed and adjourned. Do we have a mover to adjourn? Councillor Budrick, seconded by Councillor Parks. All in favor? Motion is passed. And we are adjourned at 6:52. Thank you.